What's going on, party people? Tech File here for another episode of Overtime. This week, we are talking about the very first two episodes of HBO's Hard Knock
Oh shit.
featuring the Detroit Lions. So get ready.
It's your boy TIMKINZ, the number 3, aka Ass Ketchum, aka Mr. Give It To Me.
You all right?
There we go. Can y'all hear me? Yeah,
We
you
can hear
can
you.
hear me?
We can hear you.
Okay, I'm good. Is that better?
Yep.
I'm the RJ.
Only known
All right,
as.
we good.
The RJ.
And I'm Camille, point guard of the crew of the real life Tifa Lockhart, the girl next door, holding it down for all the women who love sports. And unfortunately, Kay Harris, the gentleman, is unable to be here today. So you got a TEC Tech show coming at you today. But again, we're here to talk about Hard Knocks. We've done this, I want to say like 3 seasons of Hard Knocks in a row now. Chargers,
I
Rams.
believe so.
Yeah, Chargers, Rams, and now the
Cowboys last
Lions.
year.
So we're going to split this up. The first half of this show will be talking about episode 1, while the second half will be talking about episode 2, plain and simple. So episode 1 kicks off. You see Coach Dan Campbell up there giving an impassioned speech to his team, getting them ready for the season. And honestly, my very first thought when I saw him standing up there was simply, are we sure he's not a player? This dude is huge. He did not look like a coach.
Oh.
He big as hell for a coach.
Tell me, you all right, man? You look like you're struggling over there. You okay?
Right. Oh, you big delay.
What do you mean? Like,
You big delay.
yeah, like I guess I have a crazy delay.
You got an AOL dial-up delay.
Yeah, let me log out and come back in.
That's cool. I will say there's one thing that stood out to me when he was giving his opening speech was how different it was from like Mike McCarthy talking to the Cowboys. I was like, man, this I'd get up and play for Dan Campbell. Mike, I don't know about that one, but yeah, my first impressions was like this dude, he just knows how to talk to people.
I thought a lot about like the coaches were like the standout personalities just across the board in these first 2 episodes at least, and I feel like even the Hard Knocks crew knew that because like I feel like they gave more of a spotlight on the coaches than they normally do, or at least the last 2 years that I've watched this show, and just the sheer amount of former players that they had. I'm like, there you go. Like I was the Leo meme, like the whole first like 30 minutes of the show. I'm like, Mark Brunell. But yeah, like Dan Campbell, like he definitely is a high energy, rah, like, and he talks to you like a grown ass man. Like he doesn't, he doesn't seem to talk down to his players. He keeps it real with them. At least from what we've seen. Like obviously, I don't know what he tells people and then what he does, but like from what I've seen, he's like one of those leaders where it's like, I won't ask you to do anything that I wouldn't do myself, which is a really big thing to like instill trust as somebody, in your command or whatever. So yeah, I can definitely see why players would want to play for him, and that's why even before this, like when I started seeing his press conferences last season, I was like, I feel like they're gonna turn it around at some point. Like I don't know if they'll, reach the mountaintop or whatnot, but I feel like that's a leader of men, for better or for worse.
Yeah, I definitely agree with that because even last year I was like, that team's not going to quit on that coach. Like you can tell they enjoy playing for him. They're ready to run through a wall for him. It didn't translate into wins last season, but they didn't quit. They did not quit, and there were definitely a few games, as I kept saying last year when Tim was like, they ain't gonna win no games. I'm like, they're close. They're really, really close to pulling off some of these dubs, but things are happening like record-breaking field goals and last minute. Like it's just unlucky for them at this point, but like they might have something. Yeah, like in their coaching staff, at least it seems like they have a group of men there that team would love to play for, and something that
now do they have the X's and O's? I don't know. Like that might be the downfall. But like as far as like motivation and building a culture, like I think that they're strong in those.
And you see they're really trying hard to build that culture in Detroit. Like that's been a big refrain in the first 2 episodes of just like, hey, what happened last year we can't have happen last year. This is what we want to do. Grit's all over the place in Detroit, on the hats, on the gear, on the walls, it's everywhere. And something that Dan Campbell said that stood out to me in that opening speech, he's like, this is the best that you were going to feel until like March. And being somebody who watches football, I definitely understand that. Like I know during the season, like there's no chance for them really to rest their bodies and heal up. But I've never heard it presented in that way, just very straight up like, yo, right now the way that you feel at the beginning of training camp in August is the best that you are going to feel until March. Like that's what football players put their bodies through is utterly like it's mind-blowing to me.
And think about like how far, like even if you make it to the Super Bowl, like March is still like a month after you're done playing at most. So like imagine the people that are done in December. It's like, yeah, those are probably the people that are feeling March. Like it takes you 3+ months to get your body right to recover from like what you go through in the NFL season. So salute to those fellas. They don't get paid enough.
Yeah, that's a fact. And I think it was episode 2, so I don't want to jump too far ahead, but I think it was one of their assistant coach, I think it was Aaron Glenn, and he was just like, I respect you, man. Like, I understand the grind. It's 2.5 hours every week on that field where you got to give everything you got, and that's hard. And I understand the grind, and I respect you, man. And I was like, I respect these men too. Like, they doing a lot. They are doing a lot. So I definitely feel like that. Tim is back. How's the connection?
I think we good.
Oh, look at that. Yes. Snappy response to you. We were just
he not amused.
Right. We were sitting there talking about Dan Campbell and just like his opening speech and how it seems like the Lions really, the players on the team, enjoy playing for him and getting up for him. Did you have any takeaways from just seeing him interacting with his team?
I feel like he's part of that. There's 2 different type of regimes usually when it comes to work. Like there's one that the old regime was hey, we had our way of doing things and kind of feel kind of outdated after a certain point in time, and everything just feel like so gloomy and cloudy and dark. And then obviously you get the new regime come in, it's all bright, rainbow, sunshine. Hey, I'm just here. I just want you guys to have fun and enjoy life. They the new regime right now. Like I fuck with their coaching staff, but they're hey, we know it sucked here for the last couple of years and it's just been just kind of crazy, and I just want y'all to enjoy football again. Like, but I do not knock the passion nor the approach to trying to motivate them, because it does seem like he's just trying to look, just as man to man, like how the coaches be calling them in and stuff like that, instead of like players or whatever the case may be. It's just like, hey, we're trying to connect with y'all, and from that connection, then maybe we can go ahead and try to get more comfortable together. And who knows, maybe you'll trust each other more, maybe we'll play better more, maybe motivate each other better, things like that. We just want y'all to be cool and happy to come to work.
Yeah, and to your point about that, they're building that culture, so they got to kind of not necessarily teach them how to win, because I'm sure most of these players throughout high school, college, whatever the case may be, they're used to winning programs, but winning at the NFL level is something that they're going to have to learn. And with year 2 with Goff as their quarterback in Detroit, we'll see how that goes. But I do want to say one more Dan Campbell thing. He says man a lot. Like he'll be talking like, yeah, I think that you guys got it, man. And coming up, you can do this next, man. But that's him. I'm not knocking him for it, but it just made me giggle. I'm like, he loves the mans at the end of this sentence. But to that point of, genuineness, I think it was Kelvin Shepard when he was talking about, he was thinking about cutting his hair off. He has locks, long locks. I think cutting my hair off, trying to get a coaching gig. And Dan Campbell was like, no, that's you. Don't do that. Be genuine. And players know a fake when they see one. Like it's very true. That's probably why Urban Meyer didn't work out in Jacksonville. Like you can't
that
beat.
Was 100% like what I was thinking about. Like watching this, I'm just like, yeah, that dude flamed out for a reason because this is like the antithesis. Like, and granted, Detroit wasn't a successful football team last year,
right?
But like you can see, like why Urban Meyer's style of football, or his style of leadership, didn't work with a group of professionals, because like these again are grown ass men that need to be treated as such. You can't come in trying to be a dictator like you were in college, because like you not head shit here. Like you're the highest paid coach maybe, but like you still you aren't touching your first round quarterback salary wise. So like there's a different dynamic, and the sooner you learn to respect that, the sooner the team will respect you. So I come back to the point I made earlier where it's like, I don't know about the X's and O's. Like maybe having that many X players on his staff, like maybe the balance is kind of thrown off. Like maybe you do need somebody that's more like
outside looking in.
The tactician, like it's not just like the point I always make about like NBA coaches where it's like stars don't really make great coaches, because like you can do it, but you can't necessarily think. I don't want to say you can't think the game, because like that's disrespectful to players, but like you don't see it the same way where you have like the holistic view. You see it like from a player standpoint. So like maybe that's the issue. But again, like building culture, teaching people how to be professional football players, relating to people as men, understanding like what they go through, what they're putting their bodies, what they're doing off the field, how long it takes you to kind of like you want to do it perfect, but you can't do that unless you take the steps to do it perfectly. Like I feel like that type of stuff, like where you can relate as men, is a strong suit of this coaching staff.
Yeah,
and
I agree. Go ahead.
It's a black ass coaching staff too. They seem more them some brothers for real.
Man, listen, who was it? It was Deuce Staley and Aaron Glenn. When they coaching and practice against each other with offense and defense, oh my God. I was like, if that ain't Tim and Ken, I don't know. I don't know.
100%.
Like, that's how we used to be when we was coaching Little League. When like your brother used to play for us and stuff like that. Like not all the coaches. Some of the coaches were cool. And so, like, run a play or some shit like that, or somebody send a text message, or somebody yell across the field, or run over at halftime, like, hey, that play ain't gonna work again. Try that again later. Shit like that. Like, we used to do that too. They used to be one of the fun parts of coaching, because at the end of the day, like, I'm banking on y'all using what I taught y'all to be able to excel. So, hell yeah, I'm gonna talk shit, because I taught y'all, so let's see what we got.
Tim, what did you say they said about Rasul Douglas the other day? A stupendous amount of shit, preposterous amount of shit. Like that is 100% Aaron Glenn and Deuce Staley.
Every play.
It was fun. It was fun to watch them coach. Like I was like, show them on the sidelines. I don't the action in between the lines is cool, but like these two dudes are highly entertaining. Like you can tell that they're really good friends. And they said a couple times, like, I love you, man, but like in between these lines, I'm gonna F you up. And that's that.
And, like that's back to the point about like respecting men. Like you can be the hardest competitors against each other. You can talk shit, you can damn near come to blows, but like if there's that love and respect there, like it's always like we on the field, like it's nothing personal. Like we're trying to bring out the best in each other to move forward. But like that's the type of stuff that you can only with somebody you respect, and that is a friend, because like otherwise it gets personal real quick.
Yeah. The first person I thought of was my guy / cousin AJ. Like that's literally, that's how me and him be at it. Like for real, that's exactly how. I like. That sounds like me and AJ, especially when we be talking about football or Madden and shit. Like
Yeah, I thought of you and Ken also. But I will say this as a woman, I grew up with a lot of male friends growing up. And the dynamic between men as friends is so different than the dynamic between women as friends. Like women are just so much more like nurturing and like, oh girl, I love you and you got it, girl, and you can do this and this and this and that. And then men are be like they just rip each other, and it's like out of love, and y'all just be having fun. And it took me a while to be able to like be like, okay, that's just what they gonna do. This is normal.
Like what is going on here?
Like it's
he look nice today. Oh, nice looking ass nigga. Hold on, real quick. Oh, suit busting ass. Oh, let me get fresh for the lady's face ass.
Like men show that they love each other by disrespecting each other, and women show disrespect for each other by like being overly nice. Like it'll be like it's their shade levels where it's like on the surface it seems like that is very nice. That is a compliment to that woman, and she just feels she's like, oh my god, I can't believe she was saying that about me. And it's like I don't know what happened.
Oh, that is funny. That's
funny.
True though.
I also thought it was interesting that Dan Campbell and Aaron Glenn were sitting there doing up downs with the team, 40 of them things, and I had to laugh because the camera. Hold on, wait. This is I don't know if y'all know this, but the camera started zooming in closer on Dan Campbell as the drill kept going on, and I was like, I'm pretty sure that's Aaron Glenn next to him. And my brother was struggling on the other side of him. Like that's why they had to zoom in because he was dying.
Like, don't show me.
Dan was dying too. Like Dan wasn't getting all the way up on them up down. Like Dan started getting like halfway. All right, back down. Like,
hey, listen, that was probably my most hated drill in
up
football.
downs.
I don't blame either one of them. I'm just saying.
Hated him.
He got like a 32. Like he didn't get all 40. I ain't give him credit for the last 8.
Hey, listen, all I know with as bad as you saw Dan getting towards the end, I'm telling you, go back and rewatch the clip because you see Aaron Glenn on the side and the struggle. He was on the struggle bus early, but he tried. He gave his effort. He was out there with his team, and I respect it because me, up downs, I might be able to get 10 at the most, and that's on a really, really good day. And Dan Campbell was talking about he did his on a bad wrist too. I'm like, no.
Sometimes the adrenaline gets you going.
Have fun with that video.
I don't event like TECK Foul does up downs. We got some new content.
Hell to the no.
I'm just gonna try to beat Ken. That's all I'm gonna do. That's the only person I'm gonna try to beat. You two. I know I can't do that, but I'm gonna try to beat Ken. That's what I'm gonna do. You hear that, Ken? I hope
I'm
you
not
watch
that
this.
confident myself.
That's a lot of bending them knees. That's a lot of bending them knees.
We all come to the studio with injuries next week. See, I don't know if we need to do all that, man. We're getting a little up there.
Yeah, but I feel like everybody's competitiveness is gonna kick in.
It would.
Good luck with that.
It would. I'm gonna do Ken. I'm not coming in last for no up downs. I'm gonna tell you that I'm not gonna come in last. I might mess my wrist up like Dan Campbell or something like that, but I'm not gonna come in last. I'm gonna train for some up downs if we want to do that.
The best part about them though is like once, because they became a normal part of practice, like once you like can go through them and you realize you done did like 30, 35, you're like, oh, you still jogging? I'm still good. Like, okay, these shits is finally working.
That sound good. You know what else sounded good? Adrian Hutchinson playing in his hometown, singing Michael Jackson, getting the whole team up. I was like, so, okay, all they rookies got to perform for the rest of the team. And when he got up there, he's doing Actually, let me not do too much of that because YouTube might take us down.
Take us down, start charging us and shit.
He messed up the lyrics first off to start. And lost the whole room. So I was like, he gonna have to try really hard.
He was getting booed. They almost had the same man out there for her.
And he came back and he was able to get the whole team back to the point where the whole team singing the chorus with him and jigging. Someone took their shirt off and threw their shirt. Someone else caught the shirt out the air and started spinning it around.
It was wild.
So they lit. They are lit.
What rookie performance be?
What would mine be?
Yeah, like you can pick to do any type of performance in front of a group of people.
That's difficult.
Like Tim, I know Tim would be doing some type of dancing,
Tim might
like
sing.
Rodrigo did.
I might sing something.
I think Tim would sing. Don't let him fool you. He got a little voice on him. Tim can hold a tune.
It depends on what it is. Maybe the situation, depending on how nervous I am.
You
nervous?
You could
Shit,
rap
all the time.
You could rap that Buster Buster Rhymes, fam.
I don't never think of look at me now. Could do that though. Never come to mind. I definitely could.
Sometimes it's easier to suggest what other people could do, like their talents, and it's harder to look at yourself and be like, yeah, I can get up there and do that. Because
I don't think the object of these talent shows are for the people to be good at it. So it's just whatever you feel comfortable on stage performing.
Just go out there and be yourself.
Because Aiden Hutchinson could not sing. Like he was not carrying that tune.
He didn't sound bad either, but
he didn't. But yeah,
he sounded better than I would. I can tell you that. But
also the way the room reacted to his signing bonus.
23 million?
Boy, you signed your name, and it's there within 24. And
that's
just
more
all
than
of zeros.
Most of the people in that room will ever see from their NFL contract.
And he did it
like, in totality. Like, and that was his signing bonus before he even took a snap.
Fucking crazy, dog. Like tomorrow morning, like you sign your name, you $23 million once you let that pen off that. Crazy.
First call better be to your tax people. Like, hey, how much it is? And how much we set to the side. But I loved his story. Like, I know during the draft, we were texting, and Tim was very high on Adrian Hutchinson. Like, he was like, that's number one prospect in my opinion. Woo woo woo. Should go number one. But honestly, seeing how they told the story in Hard Knocks, like, I'm actually happy for him and his family. Because I know that they were glad that Trevon Walker shopped that board and went to Jacksonville, because they really wanted him at home. When his sister was like, had he went somewhere else, I would have been crying, and people would have thought I was so happy for him. But
that was mom.
Oh, that was his mom?
Mm-hmm. No, yeah, she looks good.
Well, and that I went back and I looked up like his whole family thing, because like they kind of, somebody at the end of it mentioned like, oh, he broke his dad's sack record. I'm like, who the fuck is his daddy? It's like his dad played at Michigan like late 80s, early 90s. And then his mom was like Miss Michigan in that same time period. And then his sister was like Miss Michigan 2022. So their whole family is like football and patches. Like, that's what they do.
They look like it.
Right.
Yeah. The All-American family.
Mm-hmm.
Probably all voted for Trump.
Oh, here you go. Here you go. Here you go.
He cleared his throat. As a Packers fan, I might be worried about him going forward. Just another headache to have to see 2 times a year. But like, just the story aspect of it, and him being able to stay home, and him wanting to be home, and what that's like for him, like the human interest story of it, I'm like, that's cool.
Yeah, that's what I learned about Hard Knocks. Is like, it makes me root for people I never even gave 2 thoughts about. Like, it's like, I want to see them, like, not necessarily like win football games, but I just want to see them win at life. Like, these seem like decent, hardworking folks.
Plus, Jamal Williams over there, dog, crying and shit.
What did he say when he was crying? Don't get these tears messed up. I'll mess you up.
What did he say? If you it was something about piss on the porch. If you a puppy, piss on the porch and let the big dogs eat, or some shit. Like, it was something.
Because we eat or some. I was like, bro, what we going?
He was saying a lot of words, fam. I didn't follow.
A lot of words. Shed a couple words. Shed a couple tears, bro. Like, it was in passion. Like,
passion was real.
I feel him.
I mean, again, like those are the type of, like, first of all, like, that sounds like he gonna be Deuce Staley's assistant, like, when he's done playing, because like that's some coach speak for that ass. But like, again, like, that's part of changing the culture in Detroit. It's like, you need people that are passionate, like, you need people that give a fuck, like, whatever your talent is, like, you want people to maximize it. Like, you may not be the most talented, but nobody's gonna outwork you. Nobody's gonna care more about this football shit. Like, nobody. Those are the type of people that they're trying to build up. So, like, having Jamal Williams as an example on the roster of what the coaching staff is preaching, like, is important.
I do want to say though, PJ Tucker got everybody out here talking about how they dogs now. I was like, okay, it's part of the sports now. We dogs. We gotta be dogs. But before we end this segment talking about episode 1 and get to the break and then hit episode 2, when looking at all the ex-players that are on that coaching staff, which of those names, when you saw them pop up, got you the most excited? Were you like, oh, shoot, I didn't even realize that you was coaching? Or like, oh, I loved him when he was playing. Were there any players on that coaching staff, given how many ex-players they have, that got you excited? Dang, you said who?
Randall.
Yes, that was one of mine too, for sure.
Yeah. Antoine Randall was pretty cool. Before even watching that, I was like, can we use it for the quarterbacks one? For the game that needs a name. Was it 2 weeks ago or something like that?
Yep. Mm-hmm. You sure did.
It's like Randall.
For me, it was Mark Brunell. Just because when I think of Mark Brunell, I think of Jacksonville. That's the very first thing that comes to mind. And then the second thing is, okay, backers. I was combining my two words. Packers back up for years, but also the trade of him led to us getting William Henderson. And I love William Henderson, so shout out to Mark Brunell.
Yeah.
Either anybody stand up for you?
Sports fact of the week from Camilla. So I'm like, I had no idea that's how they got.
Yeah, we got 2 draft picks for him, and one of them ended up being William Henderson.
The more you know. Yeah, I think it was Randall for me.
Yeah.
Because I knew about Aaron Glenn and Deuce Staley. But like, again, like it's crazy that these players that I watched basically be drafted in their whole NFL career, like now they're like the ex-players that are coaches.
Coaching. That
circle of life.
Yeah, that coaching staff has more than 80 seasons of NFL playing experience. So we will definitely see how that translates on the field as they coach. But we're going to head to the break really quick. So when we come back, we're going to talk about episode 2. If you're watching on YouTube, it won't even be that quick, but we're going to be right back.